Hello ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? It's your boy Iz33. Welcome you to this Anarchy Analysis matchup for this week. It is going to be TSM versus Team Liquid. We're covering game number 5. This is a big game as these two teams looking to win this series and advance to the grand finals tomorrow. As we load into the draft, let's see what these teams prioritize. TSM have a high priority on the Shen after the last win, taking it into the jungle. Now, ban wise, I may expect that banned out here by Team Liquid because it was so powerful for TSM in the last game that it actually worked very well. Bans so far though is the Lucian ban against TSM. They used this to perfection in their last series against C9. Broken Blade using this champion to absolute full potential, and it carried very hard. The Nidalee, which was used earlier in this series as a speaker special, used that to perfection alongside the Renekton pick that TSM rocked, so that gets removed. And the Senna, removing these ADCs that have got high priority, though that does mean the Ashe is still available on either side to take, and more than likely Team Liquid will pick that up for the first round of picks. TSM side thing, they removed the Kate, the Kalista and the TF, removing that pick from Jensen that he used in games 1 and 2 that picked up Team Liquid a win and also a loss in this series, but there's a big emphasis on carry junglers in this series as well, and Broxah is getting his hands on probably the best carrier jungler in the current meta in the Graves, full ADC carry, which means that we'll probably see an AP mid laner for Jensen here overall, but that does mean the Shen goes over to TSM, that big flex that they're actually using, that they've essentially created in this series against Team Liquid. Because of the fact that Speakers rocked it in game 4, game 5, it's going to be very interesting to see if Broken Blade gets the pick or Speaker does, and considering the fact it's going into a Graves if it's in the jungle, it's a big pick in my opinion, because Graves only has one little sidestep ability and they tend to either run Ignite Smite or Flash Smite, so he either has extra movement or not extra movement, shall we say. So I like this pickup as a whole for TSM because of the flexibility. That being said, with the Graves obviously being first picked by Team Liquid, the Ashe goes over to TSM. They've used this throughout the entire series, and it's very good at securing these picks that TSM essentially want to get. You want to isolate people off with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, have the Shen come in with the Stand United, and essentially threaten and kill off the target that's get caught out. On the side of Team Liquid though, they lock in their full bot lane here, the Jhin and the Thresh. Jhin was kind of seen as this big pick into Caitlyn in recent times. It's a big champion that's got a lot of damage in its kit. It's sort of similar to how Kate plays in terms of the fact that you build full crit. You also get the ability to stun lock someone to death alongside this Thresh, who will be looking to lock people up with ease. Plus the Thresh's Dark Passage Lantern allows this curtain calling Jhin, if he's in the curtain call, to click the lantern, get out of dodge and keep himself alive. Now, oh boy, guess what Team Liquid have left open? It's been going to Jensen this series so far. He took it in game 4 against TSM and lost on it. It's the Zilean. The Bjergsen special is in his hands. He is getting this big pick. He's going to be able to use it very effectively in my opinion with the Shen, as you can essentially speed up the Shen, carrying bombs, have him stand united, and he's super duper speedy, meaning he can almost guarantee lock up a person with his taunt, which is a very powerful combination in my opinion if I am TSM. Looking towards the bans here that have already come through, the Silas LeBlanc and the Hecarim, might expect maybe a ban towards the Nautilus here if I'm Team Liquid, or even the Rakan as a big pick for TSM. And they're instead going to ban out the Jace. Makes a bit of sense because Broken Blade can use it as a carry in the top lane, and Team Liquid are expecting it to actually be in the jungle, this Shen. even though they do ban out the Hecarim as well. But TSM locking that secure bot lane that they've been using throughout the series, the Ashe and the Braum, has come through. Braum very good at protecting against that curtain call and the collateral damage coming out from the Graves. I love this pick for TSM. You can obviously use the Winter's Bite and the Ashe to essentially focus down with the Ranger's Focus targets on Team Liquid, stunning them up and then fully CC chaining them to death. The response for Team Liquid though is the Orianna. That goes into the hands of Jensen. Also, the fact that Hecarim was banned out by them, they don't have a really good ball carrying champion for their team. So it's going to be down to Jensen himself to position the ball correctly in team fights and essentially lock up targets with that shockwave. So TSM going to have to deal with that and be very wary of where they position themselves in team fights around this map. And what do you know, Impact's getting his Gangplank to respond to how TSM have played. GP into Shen is a good matchup in my opinion because GP can match the Shen global with his own global. The Cannon Barrage does a lot of damage in terms of actually keeping people stuck in place, and it works very well with the Jhin. Obviously, you place the Cannon Barrage directly on top of someone. One little tick of the damage from that essentially allows the Jhin to land a deadly flourish and stun someone up and lock them in place to be essentially killed off by the follow-up damage. It's a very powerful combo that Team Liquid have drafted here, though it is going into an Aurelia in the top lane. Broken Blade, big carry guy. Last year, I do believe when he was first joining this roster, he was feared for his Aurelia, his Akali, and there was another pick that he used to just whip out. It was his Jace that he just whipped out and carried very, very heavily on. And as a whole, I love this pick a lot for this TSM lineup, and it works out very nicely that TSM have this very big, focused side, some sort of team comping, split push style with that Shen in the jungle, who can just join wherever he wants to and essentially make it an unfair lane. So TSM want to split push the map, a style that is, I guess, slightly coming back into favour, obviously with G2 just winning the LEC finals, using this Shen essentially slightly better than how TSM did, I have to say, with essentially controlling the map and split pushing around it, I would say. Now we look across the lines of skirmish that are this Graves to start red buff, then transition up to his wolves, and then to his blue. If not, he'll may look for an invade, go up to the enemy blue, and get that early on. And that would be probably the better play. Obviously, the Shen has got quite a low clear, and essentially because Shen doesn't have the best of clears, it's very easy for this Graves to get in behind and essentially get some counter jungling done quite early on. And them Raptors that are on this top side map should be very forfeit for him to come in and swoop in at level 2 and take. Shen though will start red buff. He'll transition over to his other buff, his other major buff around the blue section of his jungle, because that'll essentially allow him to get a very easy time in clearing out some of the other camps, because he does not do well with multi PvE camps. However, we are seeing an early roam here at level 2 for the Shen. He's unspotted. He's getting in behind this Team Liquid bot lane, looking for a possible gank. He's spotted now. The exhaust comes out from Braum. He's going to flash forward, and that's the Winter's Bite proccing, and that is a dead thresh first blood over to TSM. Ashe also picking up the kill there. TSM get this game off early, and the Zoe sad emote from the Jhin. You know TSM are coming out aggressive from the get-go. And we'll watch this play again. Shen sweeps himself through, exhaust down onto Thresh. He's not going to get away. He has not got the right amount of space to essentially flash away either. And that is a free first blood for TSM. Now, with the play towards the bot side by Speaker, that does mean he forfeits his top jungle, and what do you know, the Graves goes straight to the enemy Raptors. Shen will not clear them quickly, so he'll get them for free. Obviously, the red buff was taken earlier by Shen, so he's going to get that. And Broxer, looking towards this top side of the map here, going to be taking the Krugs. He has smited, so he won't be able to obviously smite down a minion under the turret and essentially go for a turret dive if he tanks the turret. But Broken Blade, clearing out the wave under his turret, the E is going to land. He's going to go in onto GP here, and that may be a bit too over-aggressive. The trial by fire by GP procs, that is one gunshot's going to be hit. The flash is traded by the top in the jungle here by TSM and the Graves. And Aurelia is more than likely going to die here. He's just baiting these Team Liquid members under the turret. Who's going to get the kill here? TP coming in from TSM. Flash forward by Gangplank, and he took a turret shot to his... But Graves is on the wrong side of the map, and TSM coming in. Zillion TP'd as well. Here comes Braum. He hits his auto, and that is a dead Graves. Kill goes over to Bjergsen. TSM gets something in response to that kind of very long play by Team Liquid there. Took way too long, and it allowed TSM to respond. Reset, they all went back, got back to lane as we watch this again. So Broken Blade goes very aggressive on GP, takes a lot of damage, and Impact thinks, oh, I can kill him here with 1Q. He drops him very low. Graves comes forward, flashes in, hits the auto. Broken Blade's trying to hover behind the turret because Graves' autos can be stopped by it. He gets hit by the smoke screen, and then it's just Broken Blades hanging around, waiting for this Team Liquid squad to come in. TP comes in from Bjergsen. That forces the flash out from GP, because the minion wave would have been stopped and couldn't go under turret and essentially kill him like that. But with Bjergsen coming in, Shen's also approaching, and Braum roaming up from bot wave. It's a responsive kill that gets TSM a sort of stagnated lead. Obviously, they stopped the lead that Team Liquid would have gained from that kill, but they also maintained their own lead. So, we take a look-see across the CSs at the moment. In the top lane, GP obviously getting the push in to the Aurelia as TSM head to this Ocean Drake. It means that he's going to get a huge amount of CS advantage. Obviously the barrels are very powerful as we may see a fight here. Broxer is around, so's Core JJ, expect a death sentence. TP comes in, TSM secure the Ocean Drake. Disengaging back here are TSM, though that is going to be the shockwave from the Orianna, locking up the Braum. That is going to be the second kill of the game for Team Liquid onto the TSM support. And that is big because it keeps them kind of alive in this game, honestly. Obviously, they were falling back and behind, and with the Aurelia, who is just sitting in lane, trying to farm up to keep himself irrelevant in this game, it's going to be hard for essentially TSM to keep this Aurelia strong while this GP gets more and more fed. Obviously, he picked up a kill earlier, and that essentially means he's going to be very powerful. And it's interesting to note here that Impact has got TP. He is not TPing back to lane. That's because his minion wave is pushing in. He doesn't have the risk of losing any CS right now. And as such, he is just going to walk himself up with his Sheen in his back pocket and essentially get no real loss in that top lane. Which is huge if you're a top laner, because you can just control the tempo of the map with your TP advantage. It means that TSM realistically cannot make plays towards this bot side of the map unless it's pretty slick. And as such, this game is in the control of Team Liquid for the next 3 to 4 minutes, waiting for Broken Blade's TP to come up. As we look bot side, Volley is going to land, the Deadly Flourish will not, and just trading between the ADCs right now. And CS is pretty even between the laners. Obviously, one CSD is nothing here. As for the jungle, slight advantage to the Greys, though it will be obviously evened out quite quickly with Shen doing his Krugs. Now, I look towards mid lane. Slight CS advantage as well for the Orianna here over the Zilean, which is actually a surprise considering the fact that Bjergsen has realistically just stayed in lane most of the game. Has not left it, though obviously early game Zilean isn't the best at clearing waves with them bombs. He only gets one of them, and he has to obviously wait for it to come back off cooldown in order to actually do essentially any sort of damage to the minions. Now, as a whole, this map state favours Team Liquid, in my opinion, because the scaling at the Mo is better for TSM into the late game, I would say. Obviously, with the Shen hitting level 16 with that Stand United will be such a big shield. Aurelia will do a lot more damage as time goes on, but TSM roaming down Shen and Zilean, looking to make a play. Dark Passage keeps Tactical safe. Taunt forward by Shen will not land, and he's hit by Death Sentence. There's a Braum using his ult to kill off the Thresh, and TSM looking to run away. Shen is the first casualty for TSM though, and GP has come down. That's the second kill for the Greys in this fight. Flash out by Biofrost, but he is more than certainly dead here. He's on the wrong side of the map, and Graves shuffles forward, picking up a double kill. And Broken Blade is forced to retreat from the mid wave where he was getting a bit of turret plating. And good play from Team Liquid to respond to that over-aggression from TSM. That being said, Rod of Ages picked up by the Zilean, who is 2-0 right now, which is a huge thing, because Zilean into late game is very, very powerful. As we watch this again, Ashe uses her Enchanted Crystal Arrow onto Tactical. Dark Passage from the core JJ pulls him back to safety. Death Sentence into the Braum, essentially is a free kill for TSM. Shen loses the Zilean just as he dies, which is huge, and he is forced to die. Ashe also gets hit by the Curtain Call, and TSM get basically triple killed, and Team Liquid start to get a bit of a bigger gold lead right now, which is going to be huge, considering the fact that late game they'll start to fall off. And right now, they're at probably their best stages. Obviously, when the Jhin gets his IE, they're going to be very, very powerful, and will be looking to fight for objectives, and essentially controlling the map that sort of way. So, as we look at everything else as it stands, I would say mid-wave's going to get only harder for Orianna right now. Because Zilean is closing in on level 11, that's his second big power spike in my opinion, because when he hits his level 2 ult, the cooldown on it is so low, he can essentially just keep himself alive. He realistically doesn't have to worry about lane ganks. All he realistically has to worry about is team fighting and using the ultimate on the correct target. And in my opinion, as TSM are TPing in quite deep, Aurelia is looking for a flank, Zilean looking to get some damage down, but the Dark Passage pulls back Team Liquid to safety. And that TP from Aurelia is going to get nothing, though Biofrost, he's been caught out by that Death Sentence. And that's another kill onto this Graves. 4-1-2, and he's only going to get stronger from here because he's going full lethality with that build. That is going to be a big Graves in terms of team fighting. And he's got the Rift Herald right now. They're looking to drop this bot side. Ashe is forced back to her turret, having to play quite safe here. And TSM getting spanked across the map right now. That TP netted them nothing. And then you have Bifrost trying to set down some vision, just carelessly walking into Team Liquid's jungle, and getting caught and punished because of it is not a good thing. TSM going to have to play a lot safer, and with Bjergsen looking to just play quite safe here as we look topside. Aurelia's going to use her ultimate. She's going directly in. Stan United is available if she wanted Shen to join her, but Shen's already up here. He's just clearing out the blue side jungle of Team Liquid's, and TSM could look to dive this turret here. GP, though, has pushed a wave out, and I don't think anything else will come for it, considering the fact that Aurelia is not around anymore, and the minion wave for Team Liquid is going to crash into that top lane turret. So, as we look across everything right now, there is literally a 1.9 gold lead in favor of Team Liquid right now. Close to 2k, I would say, is the best way to put it. Obviously, that is a big thing to note because that gold is in the pockets of the Greys. Obviously, upgraded that lethality item to the one that allows them to clear wards in essentially one hit, as we're going to see right now. Bop, bop. And that just means that this vision control for Team Liquid is going to be quite easy to set up and maintain. Obviously, with the sweeper as well, them wards that TSM place aren't going to be living as long as the Team Liquid ones, considering the control that this Graves can actually put down to the map. And I love this pickup for him because it means that he can essentially just have objective control through most of this game and force TSM to come towards them. And the thing about this Team Liquid comp is it lacks any real hard engage, bar say a death sentence or a shockwave. And even then, it's very hard to land. Whereas TSM have obviously the Ashe Arrow, which is full hard engage. They have the Shen Stan United into taunt. They have the Bromel. They have a lot of engage and disengage in comparison to Team Liquid. And Team Liquid are going to have to play quite hard around these objectives if they want TSM to come towards them so they can actually team fight. That's the sort of style Team Liquid are going for in this game. And I like it, but TSM, though, they just have to play the side lanes like they're trying to do right now. They've got Aurelia chilling in the top half of the map, and Bjergsen chilling in mid-wave on his own. That's their standard setup. But as we get later and later into this game, expect to see the Shen off in the side lane, expect to see the Aurelia in another, and TSM playing quite heavily around these side lanes. And that is important because that means that you can draw the enemies to you and then go to the objectives. Essentially, TSM want to draw the members into them instead of Team Liquid drawing the members into them. Yeah. So, two kind of similar styles being played by these two teams, whereas the actual aim and objective of them is slightly different, I would say. One, you're looking to get the Nexus turrets and to the actual turrets across the map. The other, you want to get the Drakes, the Barons, the objectives like that. That being said, we may see another team fight right now as TSM posturing around this Cloud Drake. We're going to see Shen start it up. Obviously, control ward in favor of TSM. TP also coming in from the Zillion. And Aurelia just roamed down here. She still has TP, and TPs are being used here by Impact. He's looking to come in from the side. Glacial Augment's going to land. That is going to be the Enchanted Crystal Arrow onto the Graves, and that is the revive popped onto Aurelia. He's forced to flash over the wall. And no kills to either team there. Just the Cloud Drake going over to TSM. Getting them their second Drake of the game. Big play, though, from TSM to disengage without any casualties. And they're actually going to be getting this mid lane tier 1, which is huge for them. Because that opens up the map a bit more for them. As it allows them to invade into the jungles. That being said, the Herald is going to be dropped in this bot wave. And he's going to pick up the tier 2 turret for Team Liquid. So, essentially, a trader turret goes in favor of Team Liquid there. Keeping them ahead by 3k gold, which is huge, as I would say. So, both teams now are trying to play quite safe. There's actually a big gold lead in the top wave. 500 gold advantage for the Gangplank right now. With his Trinity Force online as well. This champ's only going to get more and more powerful. Especially into a Bork Aurelia, who is starting to build up for her own Trinity Force. Now, that Phage isn't going to be as powerful as the Trinity Force itself. You'd usually expect maybe a Sheen as the second item for an Aurelia right now. Because that would essentially allow them Qs to do a lot more damage. Whereas the Phage is essentially a bit more resistance alongside a little bit of damage. As a whole, I don't really mind either, but I would have preferred, say, a Sheen second build or buy for the Aurelia. And yeah, looking towards this late game, which we're closing in on 19 minutes in right now. I would say this is quite TL favoured right now, with them controlling objectives quite well. Obviously, TSM do have the Drake lead now after that last team fight around the pit. And them actually setting up quite quick before Team Liquid actually can clear out any vision. I would say that Team Liquid gonna have to play a bit more aggressive towards these objectives in order to set up the vision they need. As that will essentially allow draw in TSM, pull them into them, and then get a fight. As we see bot side, Stan United is going to be channeled. The E from Aurelia is going to land. The ult will not, but the flash forward into the taunt will. And that is going to be a kill over Speaker. An isolated member of Team Liquid gets picked off. That's sort of the style that TSM want to go for. Picking up kills in the side lanes here. That essentially means that they're going to be able to push out them waves now. And with that man advantage, that essentially means that bot lane tier 1 is going to fall here. Aurelia should be able to pick that up. If not, get a lot of damage down. And it is a lot of CS also negated for the GP. But Ori and Thresh coming down to this bot side, looking to maybe catch out Broken Blade here. Thresh is with them Swifties. He's walking closer. The E from Aurelia's proc, the stun does not land. That's a flay into the Aurelia. He's trapped in the box now, and this is almost certainly a kill over to Jensen. And TL bite back as both top laners fall in that side lane there. Essentially getting the advantage they need to keep themselves active in this game. Team Liquid will not let this slip out of their hands here, I don't think. However, Bjergsen wants his blue buff here. Will not get it. Ori and Broxer. Not even Broxer. Ori and Core JJ steal away that buff. And mid lane, we see Tactical pushing in the wave. Getting a bit of chip damage down onto that tier 1 turret. That being said, the tier 1 for Team Liquid is missing, and Bjergsen just going to kill off the wave. Topside impact may be caught out once again. Ashe is in that lane though, and will not be jumped on. However, with 3 members of TSM showing in that top side, that does mean that Broxah can secure the Cloud Drake for Team Liquid, evening up the tally of Drakes to a fairly even 2 each. Impact, though, has found Bjergsen here in the side lane. He's going to look to kill him off here. He's going to put the bomb on top of himself. The ult from Zilean is going to be placed as well, and he's not going to be procced here. He's going to walk away here. The heal coming out from Ashe there keeps Bjergsen alive, and TSM do not lose anyone there, whereas we see so much burn out of Team Liquid to try and get that kill. Not very fruitful at all if you're Team Liquid, as Cannon Barrage goes on cooldown, and the Ori TP as well. That is not a good thing, though we do see TSM getting turrets in that bot wave. That tier 1's finally fallen. Bjergsen's TP'd in. We may see a fight here as he's speeding forward, running towards Broxah, who is Dark Lantern away. TP coming in from the Aurelia, coming in from behind, looking to fight onto Team Liquid, but he's just immediately caught out there. He's put into the revive, thanks to the Zilean ult being placed on him. Forced to flash away, the stun will land onto Jensen, who's forced to run the Braum, uses his ult to keep himself alive. Curtain Call will not pick anyone, and TSM disengaged, not losing any member of their team. Lovely disengage from TSM there, and lovely engage, I would say, from Team Liquid. But no member falls. No member loses anything other than the flash on tactical, the Zil ult, and the Braum flash, and then the Aurelia flash on the side of TSM. So both teams lose a few summoners and ults, but do not lose any lives at all. That fight was very explosive though, and I'd love to see more of them in this game, but Impact once again has been caught off in the side lane. Shen hasn't even needed to use the Stand United to come down here to hit that taunt, and the kill goes over to Aurelia, picking up her first for the game. TSM this time aren't going to be caught out in the side lane themselves. They're just going to recall back to base, pick up a few items, and what's interesting to note here is Shen's gone for the Dead Man's Plate. That's a big item in my opinion, as Aurelia picks up her Trinity Force. Dead Man's Plate on a Shen means that he gets that extra movement speed, and he can run down targets with a bit more ease, especially with the Zilean as well, who can provide speed ups. That's going to be a big investment for TSM, and it's a bit greedier than, say, the Locket that we see the Shen tend to go towards, but it still provides the armor to deal with the 3 big AD damage dealers on Team Liquid, and that extra movement speed to run down Team Liquid is going to be huge in this next team fight, and I would say this is a big pick for TSM. Mid-wave, we see teams trading out minions like normal, as we could see another fight here. Shen forced to blast Cone away to avoid that death sentence, though Aurelia is going to be hit by the Cannon Barrage and the Deadly Flourish. The Curtain Call's opened up. That's going to be a kill over the Broxah. He is 5-1 and 2 right now, and that's a big pick onto the TSM top laner. And with Baron technically up, we could see Team Liquid walking towards it, though TSM does control the vision around the pit right now. Ori, though, looking for TSM to try and get a pick off with that shockwave, but will not find anyone other than the Braum around that wall. But with the map state as it is, I would say Team Liquid looking pretty good. The Cloud Drake spawns in 30 seconds, looking to go up to Soul Point. Either team is actually. And TSM, once again, gonna lose out on their blue buff here. No, they're not. Speaker smites that away. And if I'm Jensen, I would say that's worth, because that blue buff is not going on to the Zilean. And as a whole, that means that this Zilean will not be chucking that many bombs out onto the field. And that ultimate will not be as impactful, I don't feel, either, because the cooldown blue buff provides, as well as the amount of mana regen, just isn't going to be as effective as impact. He may be caught out once again to force the flash over the wall, keeping himself alive after them double bombs stunned him in place. And that's going to be Cloud Drake, though, over to Team Liquid due to impact drawing so many TSM members over to him. Now, as things stand, TSM sieging quite heavily right now. They've got Ashe actually on the Baron with Shen. It is spotted out here by Team Liquid with that blue trinket, and they're still trying to take it. Another blue trinket's pop, but TSM gonna disengage back away from the pit. And wow, Shen got took down to half HP just from Baron damage. Yeah, not a smart play to be doing that if Team Liquid actually were around you, because they would have essentially killed you off and took the Baron for free. And as such, TSM just respond and respect the play if it did come out from Team Liquid there. And yeah, this game is on a nice edge, I would say. The gold difference actually has shrunk slightly here, though. It's down to just under 1.5k, 1.6k in favor of Team Liquid now. And TSM, that's a bit of an oopsie. Biofrost using that stopwatch there. You know what he was trying to do. Trying to place a ward, but obviously hit that stopwatch. The button's right next to each other there. So, bit of a mistake there. 600 gold's worth of mistake there, actually. Though he'll probably turn that into a gargoyles soon enough. And the observers are doing him dirty. He's forced to go back to base to spend his money that he's got. Will he sell that stopwatch? No, he's just gone back to restock his wards. Kind of a shame that he wasted that. Though mid-wave, we are seeing a bit of a push in. Ooh! The final shot from the Jhin. Chunking down double if there. And it isn't the Blade of the Rune King Ashe start that we normally expect to see. It is IE Assets Reaver Hurricane. And probably then Bloodthirster Ashe, which does not get that lifesteal essentially till really late. Probably has the legend bloodline as the ruin, so he'll probably get a bit of lifesteal throughout the entire game over his leveling. So that'll be kind of impactful thing that goes in favor of the Ashe, though it won't be that strong right now, considering we are actually at 30 minutes in, so it will be quite strong actually. But Ashe obviously has gone full damage right now, which is slightly more favoured as Team Liquid walking over to the Baron. Gonna hit it once, thought they were gonna start it up, though that Scryer's Bloom popped by Zilean. Knows that Team Liquid are around his pit and they are actually starting this up. Control Ward spots a ward going over the wall here. Shen is hovering. Will we see Team Liquid get this? TSM know it's being started. That blue trinket was put down. Hawkshot's coming over. TSM TPing in behind Team Liquid. The Ashe Arrow is going to land onto one. Aurelia coming over from the back side. That's going to be a lot of damage put down onto him. The Ori Shockwave does not secure the kill as Shen picks up the first kill of this fight for TSM. Team Liquid forced to retreat back to their base. And Impact's on the wrong side of things. He's being ran down here by Double Lift, and that's going to be 2-0 in favour of TSM, and they're going to look to turn towards this Baron. That is a big play for TSM, as they're going to get this quite easily, as Bjergsen running super duper quick down this mid-wave, going to keep Broxer away from this pit. Blue Trinket, though, dropped by Team Liquid. They can't exactly fight as Bjergsen's just zoning them away. That's Baron over to TSM. And the gold has evened out, finally. Making this game a bit more interesting after that misplay by Team Liquid there. getting caught out as Locket of the Iron Solari is finding complete for that Shen. As well as the big boy Deathcap for that Zilean. That ult's going to do a lot of damage. Though we may see another fight here as Ocean Soul is on the table for Team Liquid right now. They've got 3 seconds until that Cloud Drake spawns. TSM, though, look to pressure midway, force Team Liquid to go towards it to respond. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to be cleansed away by Jin right now. And TSM posturing quite heavily around this Drake pit. They are going to spot it started up by Team Liquid. It's going down below half HP. Impact coming in from the side, looking to try and fight. The Cannon Barrage is put down onto 3 members of TSM. And looking at top side of fight, Doublelift's going to solo out the GP. And then it's another kill for Broken Blade, killing off the Thresh. That's going to be Sen United casted onto Broken Blade, forcing the Shen to get the kill onto the Jin. Though it's a trade of kills, though, as Ori picks off the Aurelia. And Shen's now running down this Team Liquid lineup. The Braum Q's going to land. That is Shen landing the taunt. And that's a double kill over to the Ashe. And that is the Bud Light ace. TSM can look to crack open the base of Team Liquid with that massive play. They could also go take that Cloud Drake to stop the Soul, but I don't think they're going to do that. And what's actually really impressive that I haven't talked about right now, as we might not even get a chance to, is TSM looking to get these Nexus turrets, as it's just Core JJ's Thresh hanging around. This Nexus turret is dropping down quite quickly. That's the first turret over to TSM. They're going to walk away, though, try and get back to safety and go towards this Cloud Drake, which we can actually talk about now. Cloud Soul on Zilean, my dudes. Big thing, because that ultimate CDR goes past the actual CDR cap. Essentially, Cloud Drake exceeds the cap. And I love this Zilean pick because that ultimate is going to be probably usable almost 2 times a fight. That is a big thing as we watch this Bud Light ace again. TSM forcing down the mid wave, trying to put pressure. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out. Tactical tanks it to stop it hitting Broxah and uses his cleanse instantaneously. That essentially means that there's no real pick engaged for TSM. Though we do see Shen coming round the back of this bottom side of this fight, flashing through Broxah with his taunt, landing a 3-man ability, thus allowing TSM to win this fight. As top half of it, we see Doublelift picking up the kill onto GP. Stand United used by Speaker to taunt in, get the kill onto Jin, shutting him down. Zilean puts his ult on himself to keep himself safe from the Orianna, and it's then just a very easy chase down for TSM as Ashe gets the speed ups to just kill them all with them auto attacks. Now we have TSM pushing through with that gold advantage they gained. Zilean being the big speedy boy, just running down to this bot wave, allowing Broken Blade to actually do a bit of work. Mid-side he's returned and that turret's going to fall. TSM don't even have Baron right now. That's how confident they're feeling in their siege, because that big power spike has actually come through. They've now actually got a 3k gold lead for themselves. And Team Liquid are having to play on back foot, and I do feel have been outscaled here, sadly. Because TSM can play this very aggressive style, looking for another pick here onto Impact, who's fallen back to his Nexus turret, so there won't be a play there for TSM. It's going to be quite nice to see if TL can actually find a way back into this game, though it's very hard to actually imagine that, because TSM just have so much control right now. Zilean is very impactful for this game, and it's why you don't see teams allowing Bjergsen to get this pick. It's very, very powerful because of the revive ability that it provides, especially with the now Dragon Soul style of team comps that people go towards, because of the fact that Dragon Soul is that powerful. It's very interesting to note that teams shouldn't be allowing picks that get so much benefit from their ultimate to be allowed into the games. And with Bjergsen somehow always managing to get this Zilean, you'd expect if TSM advance in this series to face FlyQuest tomorrow, that Zilean gets banned out almost every single game, because it's so goddamn powerful for him. It's essentially winning this series for free in Game 5 here. It's a pick that you shouldn't allow Bjergsen to get. As such, we are going to see TSM continuing to siege. All tier 2 turrets are finally falling off the map. And TL going to have a hard time now in essentially getting anything done, as we do see Shen and Ashe actually two-manning the Baron right now. They don't care about TL's vision. Though we may see a team fight coming up soon. They are walking towards it. Graves is going to use the blue trinket, but it's too late as Shen picks up the Baron and TSM get that purple buff once again. Now, that is a big advantage for TSM. Probably going to look to crack open the inhib turrets now with that buff. Though we do see Team Liquid positioning over towards this Cloud Drake. They want Soul. They want to fight for this Soul Drake. And that will probably be their last stand in this series if they are to make it. Because they can't allow Soul to go over to TSM. That would be way too powerful for them. Obviously, it's a very powerful buff, as Bjergsen may be caught out here. He's going to be locked up. Curtain Call will not get the kill, and Bjergsen just zooms away back to his safe side map where his carries are. And because of all that expended ultimates being used by Team Liquid there, they're going to start to crack open the Team Liquid base. The inhib turret falls, though we may see another fight here, though we won't actually, because TSM disengaged quite heavily, though Shen has been caught out here, hit by that death sentence. Force Flash, Deadly Flourish does land. He manages to get away, though Braum could be caught out. He's managed to escape. TSM, though, will get this Cloud Soul thanks to Shen and Braum buying a lot of time in that top lane. TSM almost certainly will win this game from here on out. There's not much Team Liquid can do. They won't be able to get any sort of pressure on this map. And with the Elder Drake coming up in just over 5 minutes, it's going to be intriguing to see if Team Liquid fight for that. Because I don't think TSM will push into base until they get that buff. Obviously, there's 50 seconds till the end of this Baron play. So they could, in theory, make a play. Obviously, topside map is where we see the most TSM members looking to protect Double Lift's Ashe there. And Core JJ looking to hit a hook. Glacial Augment's going to land. Double Bomb will not. Only one gets onto that Thresh. And we are still seeing the Baron buff being used effectively. The cannon minions are being the big impactful thing in this top side, hitting onto that inhibitor right now. As bot side, we see Aurelia just clearing the wave, getting her wave into this inhib, looking to kill this off. She's actually hitting it this time. Whereas in the top half of the map, it was the cannon minions. As another wave comes through, the inhib falls in the spot side. There's the inhib falling. Then the enchanted crystal arrow is going to be used to kill off the Thresh there. And TSM looking to fight for this. That is a double kill for this fight for the Ashe. She's picking up kill after kill. That's a Jhin going down. Zilean picks up the kill onto Yori. Shen picks up the kill onto Graves. TSM get the triple kill on that Ashe. And that's going to be game for TSM. Acing Team Liquid and advancing to the LCS finals. What a game. What a series. TSM looking ever so dominant in Game 1. Game 2, they fell down. Game 3, they fell. And Game 4 and 5 is where TSM stepped up to the mark. Beating Team Liquid in their first series in so long. And absolutely smashing that game. What a game from this lineup. advancing to the finals for the first time since 2019 spring split, where they lost to Cloud9. It wasn't Cloud9, it was TL. And TSM have never looked this good, in my opinion, beating the two toughest teams, in my opinion, this split. And yeah, TL this split have looked so dominant. TSM just smashed them in a best of 5. C9, the most dominant spring split, and then the most dominant first half of summer split, gets smashed by TSM in playoffs. And this squad just showed up considerably. They've gone from series to series, game to game, looking better and better, and they're going to be hard to stop, considering that Shen is such a pick that you don't expect to be flexed to the jungle in so long. It's a big pick that's won them this series, in my opinion. And Doublelift, his Senna performances in the first few games, he stepped up. That Senna was clearly very powerful for him. He used to be memed when he was on Team Liquid for that Senna, and now he popped off with it. This series shows the growth of this TSM lineup. You have the youngest player in the LCS getting to the grand finals. He steals Barons. He steals Drakes. He's done it all in this series. And this TSM lineup, through their struggling times in summer, have just grown into this strong squad. And I think they're going to do a lot of big things here in the grand finals. Nonetheless, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new around here if you want to. And I will be seeing you guys later. Peace out.